Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sports Corner with the Conn Man. I am your host, the Conn Man. Just waiting on my guests, Brian Snow and Cole Johnson from Snowman in the Morning. They have a great morning show, fantastic. Hopefully, they'll be coming on momentarily. But until they arrive, I guess we'll kick it and talk about what's going on this evening. We have the NBA games this evening. The first game is we're going to have, of course, we're going to have Milwaukee versus Indiana. I don't want to know what your take on that game. I think Milwaukee's favored by, I think, 4 or 5. It's going to be very interesting because Indiana has I think, the highest scoring offense in the NBA, and they have one of the best players who is playing out of his mind, and it's going to take a good effort by Milwaukee to come through and win the game this evening. But, of course, with the addition of Dame Dame Lillard, he's finally, I think, feeling more comfortable in the Milwaukee system and, playing alongside Giannis. But also, defensively, I'm sure there were some things they had to change and make, I guess, a little bit more dependable because when Milwaukee, they lost, one of their top guys, giving them as a free agent to the Boston Celtics and Holiday. And, I think that made impact as far as defensively is concerned. So I think that's going to be a major problem. But we're going to see. Indiana's fast-paced. They're going to run. They're going to run. I like the fact that Halliburton, what he does, if you all notice, he doesn't bounce the ball up and down the court. My man passes the ball up the court so the offensive players, whoever they might be, has a chance to make a move instead of waiting till last minute and then expecting people to do a pitch and pop or coming through and then getting the ball and shooting, a little too early. And I like the way that he handles the offense. He's young. He just got a boatload. And I think that he's going to be very effective tonight. That is going to be interesting. I'm going to tell you what, I think I'm going to go with Milwaukee because of Giannis. I mean, he's just a beast. I just think that he's going to take over and do the damn thing. I think it's a great. He's bad. He's a bad boy. That's all I can say. He's playing out of his mind. I kind of like to talk as well as I like Milwaukee. They seem focused. I like what they're doing as well. And again, my guest should be coming on momentarily. So I'm going to do what I normally do. And we're going to talk about, the very next game, which is going to be the one that everyone's interested in, which is the Los Angeles Lakers against the Pelicans. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted my co-host of Snowman in the Morning, Brian Snow and Cole Johnson on, because they have a morning show. And you guys, hopefully they come on. There might be a disparity because they're Indiana, Chicago. I don't know where they're at now. So it could be a time difference. I kind of asked them yesterday if it was because I'm on the East Coast. So I told them if it's 4 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm hoping that they're going to come on because they have a lot to say. Their show is phenomenal. I'm going to give a little story later on about Brian Snow. As a matter of fact, I'll kick it right now. When I started doing these podcasts, I really didn't know much, to be honest with you. I was retired, didn't have a lot to do on my plate. So, I started looking at shows and I'm looking and I see Brian Snow, Snowman in the Morning. I'm like, what is that? So I turned it on and he was phenomenal. And then they have the graphics on the show. It's hysterical. It's comical. These guys get along great together. And, I was very interested. But prior to Cole coming on, I think I might have stalked Brian for a while. Because, again, when I came out there, you try to promote yourself. You try to, I don't know. So I claimed that I was just a basketball historian. And I knew that's how I promoted myself. People really didn't know me from a hole in the wall. So I had to try to promote myself. And, I was stalking him, I guess, and it came a time where he allowed me to come on the show. And I got the bug, and we've remained in contact ever since. And his co-host, Cole Johnson, another one, they do their homework. They're very knowledgeable. And again, Brian is very, how should I say, very opinionated. he will tell you what's on his mind. And he'll tell you if he's not a fan of someone. And one of those individuals that he's not a fan of is Mr. LeBron James. I'm telling you, that's kind of why I wanted him on the show. With the Lakers playing tonight, I'm sure he has a lot to say. Believe me. And again, I hope they come on, but I got a little something to talk about that. But again, he allowed me to come on the show. And, I truly believe, I do know my stuff. And I do love the history of the game. I go back 1967, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. I'm back there. So I do know my stuff. Oh, hold on a minute. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I have my man, Cole Johnson, co-host with my man, Brian Snow, who's supposed to come on of Snowman in the Morning. How you doing today, my brother?
Doing good, doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Glad you can come on the show. I was just talking about how it all started with me and Brian, as far as me finally getting on the show and how I stalked him, and then how I came on when you guys were both on. I was talking about how you guys work so well together. Can you do me a favor, Cole, and let the viewers know about your show and a little intro about yourself?
No, sure. Well, what you got to know me by Hello and Brian on Snowman in the Morning. That comes on every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. And it's a 2-hour show. Of course, it's all about sports topics. And we delve in a little bit of history, not a lot, but we do touch on it. But it's basically a sports and entertainment show. And yeah, it's 2 hours every weekday, and of course I do other things as well. I have another show I do once a week called Total Football Talk with Drew Willingham. That comes in every Tuesday. I also do a show called Mentality with my brother Wiser Hefe. That premieres every Monday. And of course, Mentality is not necessarily a sports show. That's more geared toward men's mental health. And there's other projects I do too, like Cold Sports and other new projects I'm going to be unveiling within the next month or two. But yeah.
That's good. Now, Cole, how can people check you out? How can they check your shows out and what you're doing?
Okay. Well, anything Snowman in the Morning, you can catch that on the Snowman Multimedia YouTube channel. And you can catch Total Football Talk and Mentality on the Comey, that's COMI Media Incorporated YouTube channel.
I told you all these guys are on the ball. I want you to tell the viewers because usually, when you have people on your show, you give out topics and, talk about stats and all that. But what I want to do is a little something different. I like to, like as yourself, this is a sports show, but also the fact is, with my producer, I'm allowed to do things. She gives me the platform to do and delve into things that's more important than sports. You know what I mean? So I think I want to do a little bit more. I was like, when Brian comes on, we know his medical issues. So I kind of want to let people know about what he's been through and that, we're glad that he's still with us. I wanted to bring that up, but hopefully he comes on. But now that I got you here, I want you to tell folks how opinionated is Brian? Because we're going to talk about the NBA. We're going to talk about, but if Brian have no problem saying he's not fond of some players, and he'll tell you like it is. We all know that. And I wanted to bring up one individual that we know, and that would be Mr. LeBron James. We all know about that. And he's very, he's very, he's very opinionated about that. But now that I got you here, Cole, is there anything that you want to talk about before I bring up anything? Because the floor is yours as well.
Okay. Well, in terms of sports in general, of course, the hot button topic has been the college football playoff and how
Yes.
here it is, the last year of it being 4 teams that they elect to go to play for the national championship, and next year's 12. How, well, let's be blunt, how the CFP committee basically fumbled the ball, and then they scrambled for a reason or an excuse as to why one team who was in the power conference and went through the season undefeated did not qualify. And they come up with, since a player got injured, and more than likely the value of that team goes down, and the quality of the play would be pretty much disrupted. Forgetting that 8 years ago they did this for Ohio State, where Ohio State started a third stringer. They still invited them to the dance, and they won the whole thing with a third
Mhm.
string quarterback.
Right.
Yeah, so from that aspect, I think that has been pretty much the talk of sports outside of your particular realm. But yours is basketball, and within that scope, I mean, yeah, I mean, you could definitely talk a little bit about LeBron. For me, it's more. I actually have to laugh. I think that's the best way I could say it. I have to laugh at the fact that the NBA wants to ingratiate itself, I guess, more to the international style of play, uh, sort of not blatantly embrace it, but sort of tacitly embrace it, and then add an in-season tournament like you see in soccer and you see in basketball overseas. And I know it's done to want to, I guess, keep the interest of the players and to probably draw more money to and attention to the product. Considering that, well, when you deal with anything in November and early December, more
Right.
than likely the attention is toward football. I mean, the way that things are in the United States,
Correct.
football, the sport that people
Mhm.
focus on, especially in November and December and really January. You don't really start to really. I'm talking about the casual people, not people like us who love sports. It doesn't matter what type of sport it is,
Right.
but the casuals, they don't really start to follow other sports other than football until you get to the latter part of the playoffs, like January. Then you start to say, okay, well, there's other things that needs to capture my interest from sports, and then they start to look at college basketball and pro basketball.
You know,
But I just cannot embrace the in season tournament. I just can't.
I know we're gonna get to that, but just going back to the college football thing, I watched the show. You probably know Pat McAfee, and I don't know if you ever watched the show in the morning. And he is very fortunate, although he pays a lot of money. He has Aaron Rodgers on every Tuesday, and he has Coach Saban on every Thursday. And Coach Saban was on this morning, and he was talking about how he got a lot of heat because Alabama got in. And basically, he was saying that he's been on the outside looking in as well. And of course, he's a 7-time champion. And he said that's the way it goes. He said, I had nothing to do with it. But like you said, Florida State, they lost their quarterback. Of course, that probably made a difference because I think they looked at the whole scheme and didn't want to blow out or didn't want, they want more competitive game, which it probably still could be. I'm not sure.
Mm,
But
right.
interesting as far as that's concerned. What do you think your top choices for the Heisman?
Well, I mean, I like what Bo Nix has done,
Yeah.
and and I mean, he did well in Oregon this year. Actually, to me, he's the one that has made me pay attention to Oregon. So he's up there for me. And also Jayden Daniels. I mean, I got a chance to
Yeah.
see him in a couple of games.
Mhm.
One in a win and one in a loss, and yeah, he I think is going to do some really spectacular things next year. But to me, the moment I saw him, and I think I saw him play against California, and this was like late September. To me, it's been Michael Penix Jr.'s race to lose, and I just don't see anybody who has been more um, electrifying and poised at the same time as him. And Washington would not be where they were if it weren't for Michael Penix Jr. So that's my choice if I had to pick one.
I kind of agree. I kind of agree with you. Now, here's one topic I want to bring up, and I'm so I don't know, enamored by it, I guess, because this delves into not only college football but college basketball as well. And I want your take on this one because this is kind of kind of new to me. What is your take on that NIL? What is your take on that? And also, you can have guys who are girls who can play 3, 4 years and then transfer in the portal system and go play for somebody else. I'll give you a good example of the center from Michigan. He now is with I think it's Kansas, if I'm correct. I mean, what's your take on the NIL in collegiate sports?
Yeah, it was coming. That day was coming. There was no way you were going to get to a point where you could sell the amateur athlete now with the prospect of, okay, you're going to be on national TV, and definitely the ones that really bring the revenue, which would be basketball and football.
Mm-hmm.
You be on national TV. You're going to play in front of thousands of people, whether it's on campus or away, and you're going to see how much your contribution really does matter to the program in which you represent. It was going to be a hard thing to sell to say, well, you're an amateur athlete. It's all about the books. When you see these programs earn millions, if not tens of millions, and some, if not hundreds of millions of dollars a year, off the sweat of their back. So I'm not of the ilk of, well, the athletes shouldn't be paid. Yeah, they should. The problem I do foresee though is you're going to. I get the feeling one of these days, because it's the Wild West right now with NILs, and for those who don't know, it means name, image, and likeness, that you get paid off of it. I'm getting the feel the NCAA is going to find a way to wrangle that in, find a way to regulate it, and it will be streamlined. I don't know how it's going to be done, but I guarantee in the next 5 years, we're going to look back and say, okay, so this is how they're going to streamline it. To me, I think it's going to be I'm thinking the NCAA offices is thinking we got to find a way to make money off of this ourselves. And once they find that, in, then we're going to see the NIL regulate. But I think it's a great thing. I don't think it's going to be the way it is now, say 2028 though.
I agree, and I think what makes it a good thing, because when I know a lot of athletes do not come from some great family backgrounds and living environments, living arrangements, and maybe have a lot of brothers and sisters. And by being in the NIL program, it enables them to also contribute to the household and maybe put their family in a better position instead of having to wait for them to go and play professionally.
Right.
So in that respect, I think it's a good idea. I definitely think it's a good idea. But like you said, NCAA, they're seeing all this money that the players are taking in. They're going to have, like you said, they're going to do something. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're definitely going to do something. That's going to be a major factor. I also think about that. Okay, now let's get into some NBA.
Okay.
We have some really good games this evening. We have, matter of fact, another hour. We have Milwaukee versus Indiana. They're playing in Vegas, as well as the Lakers in New Orleans. What's your take on Milwaukee versus Indiana?
I did not think I was going to see Indiana actually take shape the way they have. So
I didn't either.
I'm surprised with that, pleasantly. But I'm surprised with that. I'm pleasantly surprised with what I'm seeing from them. In terms of the Bucks, I'm not really all that surprised. Actually, I'm not really surprised that they have the record that they have, because I figured, considering that you have Lillard coming into the fold, and he's going to have to find a way to coexist, which I didn't think that was going to be a problem, with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Normally, when you do have that number one man labeled, stamped on you in one place, and everything is riding your shoulders, you think one way.
Right.
Now you have to coalesce with somebody who has been the man there. And so, you're going to have to bend some, and the current number one man on the team, which is, of course, Giannis, he's going to have to bend some. And so there was going to be some bumps in the road,
Yep.
but, but the bumps have been minor, and to me, it's a testament to both of their professionalism, to where they both are looking at this situation and saying, okay, well, this guy is here for my good. This guy this guy is going to better my career. So it's not he's taking food off my table. It's he's going to help me along. So both guys think this way. Both guys have an unselfish gene of,
Hmm.
oh,
Hmm.
well, we can go about and do this thing, and and here they are. They're still even with the I won't say issues, even with trying to get the chemistry down. Here they are, still all near the top of the Eastern Conference as we enter into December. Uh, so again, not surprised about them. Uh, the Pelicans. What, what can I say about the Pelicans? I mean, they it's like they have talent on the team. It has to come together with Zion Williamson being the linchpin piece,
Of course.
and and the more he embraces that role, the further the team can go because they got pieces around him that can help him out. But the less he embraces it, the worse the team will do, and the team is right now floating around 500. So, and yeah, it's frustrating to watch them. And then the Lakers are the Lakers. I mean, to me, they are the they are the greatest soap opera in the NBA. Uh, it doesn't matter if they win or they lose. There's some scintillating story that seems to emanate from them, and it doesn't necessarily have to be that one guy we'll talk about later. It could be anybody. It could be Jeannie Buss. It could be Anthony Davis. It could be Austin Reeves. It could be any host of things. It could be
Uh-huh.
a fan in crypto.com arena. It could be anything related to the Lakers. They're the greatest soap opera in National Basketball Association. But congratulations to those four. They are the semifinalists in this absolutely abysmal tournament. But I had to give props where it's due.
Now, Cole, from you look at all the shows, they're talking about this in tournament is been a success and it's going getting rave reviews. So why do you think it is abysmal? I kind of agree with you, but I just want to know what your take is.
To me, why do you need to have a tournament inside the regular season? What purpose does it serve? I mean, other than I get that it's supposed to draw more money and more interest and all of that. I get that, but just from a fan standpoint, I don't get amped about seeing a court that's painted 16 different colors.
I
I'm
don't know.
not
That's crazy.
that doesn't get me hyped nor excited about it. I don't I don't care if I see the resemblance of the trophy that you're going to receive at the end of this tournament painted on both of the paints. Uh, no, no, there is nothing about this tournament that gets me excited. It just makes me shake my head and laugh and say, I just don't get it. I don't think that we needed to come to this point, and the NBA has been in existence over 75 years. I don't think we need to get to this point and say, well, the NBA is dull when we start the season. Huh. What can we do to drum up more interest in it? I'm like, come
Exactly.
on. No. Mm-mm. No. No.
What have been your pleasant surprises and maybe your disappointments with the season so far, or any players per se?
you know the so my team is the Rockets. To me, they are a
Oh,
pleasant
okay.
surprise. Yeah, they're a pleasant surprise. I did not think. I figured they would be better. So I'll start there. I figured they'd be better because they got Emi Udoka as head coach, and he does know what he's doing. Yes, I know he had his issues with having affairs with the wrong person on the Celtics on the Celtics staff. I
Correct.
get
Correct.
that. But in terms of basketball acumen, he does have it. He
Yes.
had it in Boston. That he did not lose it in the year he was not able to be on their sideline.
Right.
So
Right.
I knew they were going to be better. I did not think that they were going to be able to compete and actually be in the slot where they can actually vie for playoff positioning. I know
Yeah.
it's early. I
Yeah.
know we're only like a fourth of the way through the season, really. But I did not think the Rockets would be that high up. Now, I will also go on record in saying that I did not think I was going to see the Timberwolves be the team that was going to be
Ooh.
number
Yes.
one team in the West.
Yes.
That's
Wow.
that
Hmm.
I did not, and it's not that I didn't think Anthony Edwards would not pan out. I knew he would. I knew he would be the stud that he became. Uh, to me, it was all about I'll call it the talents. If he actually could
Uh-huh.
if he can actually embrace being that guy
Yeah.
along with Edwards and not think about, well, how should my game be? Should I just chunk up so many threes? Should I dominate in the post? And if it doesn't go well, he just checks out. Well, all that is starting to work. So if you were to say to me, yeah, by December 7th, 2023, or almost 4:30 p.m. on that date, that the Timberwolves, once the season began, would even sniff the number one seed in the West, let alone be there. I would not
Exactly.
be surprised. So I would say the biggest surprise is them. They're not even a question. The biggest surprise is the Timberwolves. Biggest disappointment. I almost want to say Pistons, although I knew they would be
Oh.
disappointing.
Oh. Oof. Mm-mm.
You know, I knew
18
they'd
in
be
a row they lost, right? 18 in a row. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Oof.
I knew they'd be disappointing. I just didn't think they would be this disappointing. Uh,
Right.
but but I probably would. I would probably have to go in terms of the disappointment realm. Let me see. Should I go west or should I go east with this one? Um, I mean, I can say the Wizards too, but I'll go west. The Grizzlies. They have talent. They have talent throughout out the wazoo, and they have proven that even without John Morant, they can play ball. But I think now we're starting to learn they need to have that all world talent with them because when they don't have that confidence, he will be there, which, of course, that will end sometime in January. Uh,
Right.
then, then I think that they would feel as though they would have the ability to just soar. Although, yes, we saw when he was otherwise troubled that the team is otherwise troubled too
Yeah,
last
of
year.
course. Yep.
But
Yep.
I thought that this team would actually hold up a little bit better than they have. So for now, for me, the biggest disappointment is the Grizzlies.
You again, I have to agree with you. I have to, that, like you said, you would think they would be able to hold the fort until Morant comes back, and
Yeah.
obviously they haven't. And you know, here's I'm gonna say surprise.
Okay.
It's probably not, but to me it is. You
Mhm.
know, Kyrie got a lot of heat when he went to Dallas and was playing with Luca, even though stats
Absolutely.
wise he was playing pretty well.
Mhm.
They didn't know how well they would work together,
Mhm.
and they seem to be playing pretty well together. I
Yeah.
kind of thought it would take a little bit more time.
Mhm. I did too. That's
And
a good surprise. I agree. I agree with you there. Yeah.
that's kind of one of my takes on that. Um, but again, I'm like, who I'm disappointed in? Because I'm out here. So the Boston Celtics, I'm talking about recently. There had been all this fanfare, and then they made that deal. They got rid of Marcus Smart. They got rid of Malcolm Brogdon, who I thought was pretty good, sixth man of the year, and you're getting rid of him. I wasn't too happy about that. I'm not a Celtics fan, by the way. But anyway, they got Porzingis, who definitely has made a difference when he plays. But
Right.
someone like him with that size, and it's good that they got him because he extends the defense and that enables Tatum and Brown to do more things that they can do very well. And I think it
Mhm.
was a good addition. But the thing I'm concerned about is longevity and how is he gonna? He's already hurt. I can see that happening time and time again. And how that's going to happen when it comes playoff time. That's my only thing. But we're early yet. But that's my thing. I don't know. That's my take. But
That is not a bad one, considering that Porzingis does have a history with injury. So yeah, I can understand that, and I know he's a stretch, but I think he stretches too much. I think he does need to go in the post to play a little more because I think that's something to
don't you
celebrate.
think? Don't you think? You know why he don't go in the post? That's the reason. But we don't got to go there. But me out here in New Bedford, Mass, Boston. You know, of course, you're going to hear a lot about the Celtics, and I mean, when we talk about NFL and how great the Patriots are doing right now, which I'm very happy. But anyway, we'll get into that a little bit later on. We'll get into that a little later. But again, as far as the NBA is concerned, you know, I'm gonna watch the games today. I'm gonna check everything out. I'm gonna be very observant. I'm gonna find out, you know, what the landscape is going to be. I'm very interested in seeing how things are going to go. Uh, any moves that are going to be made during the trade deadline, and to help the teams who are maybe not flourishing right now. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But of course now we got to talk about before we got to talk about that man because I know we only got about another 20 minutes, so this could take about 10 hours. So especially if Brian was here, we had talk about Mr. LeBron James. Do you think? Now I think I'm gonna get used to it. Do you think? I mean, it seems to me like he's breaking a record every night almost, and his longevity and leading score in NBA history, and playing what 20 years, 21 years, and yeah, his resume speaks for itself. What do you think his legacy will be? Because he may have another 2 years left, maybe. I don't know.
The way it's going, I'd probably say another two, maybe three.
Mhm.
So before I continue, unlike my broadcasting partner and brother,
I know. That's why I got you on.
yeah, who will who will say that LeBron James sucks as a basketball player, and no, I'm
Yes,
standing on his terms.
that's why I
Those
wanted him on.
those words have come out of his mouth more than once on air. Uh, my 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 gripe with LeBron basketball wise is that he's basically like a bull in a china shop. I mean, the dude does have skill, but in terms of the skill that I think those of my generation and even yours got a chance to see, LeBron is not that type of guy. That's just not his style, and that's understandable. That's understandable. He's not as graceful as Jordan. He's not as imaginative and explosion like Dr. J. And I'm not gonna think of other things, and other and compare in comparison to other players. LeBron is LeBron, and he has his own style. So his legacy will be one that I think a lot of guys are going to look at and say, I want to pattern my career after him, and not just on the court. Because I think he gave the players the understanding that, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I can be a power broker while I'm playing the game. And I think when you talk about guys like Magic and Jordan, uh, they showed you that you could be a power broker once you retire, and they showed you that you could be a great player. But in terms of the business stuff,
Yeah.
to a much smaller degree, yeah. But in LeBron's case, I mean, the dude has shown that you can be a great player on the court and you can still take care of business off the court while you're still playing, and you can take care of yourself your the generation after you and the generation after them while you're playing. I mean, to me, all you need to say about legacy is the dude is a billionaire and he's still playing. So to me, I think that's going to be his legacy. You're going to see these ball players look at LeBron. And they say, okay, well, I can take care of my stuff away from the court while I'm still playing, and of course, not getting in trouble. I mean, you know, for what anybody can say about LeBron, you can definitely not discount the fact that he's been a straight arrow most of his time. He has a wonderful wife. He has great children, and
Mhm.
on the court, he he has been a really good face of the league. He really has. To say otherwise would be a bold-faced, flat-out lie. I mean, he has been a really good
Okay.
face of the league. You know, so yeah, I think his legacy is going to be one where you're going to see a lot of people want to be like LeBron more than Mike. I'll put it that way.
That's a very good answer. Now I'm gonna hit you with this one
Okay.
since I got you on here. You
All right.
know, comparison LeBron
Mm-hmm.
to Michael Jordan. Right now, people who are a little bit younger than us, of
Mm-hmm.
course, maybe a lot of them haven't really seen Michael Jordan when Michael
Right.
was Michael Jordan, and of course they gravitate toward someone that they actually see, which is LeBron. So
Right.
if you can look at things with objectivity,
Mm-hmm.
who would you say was the better player? Although they're different eras,
Mm-hmm.
and I want your take on that.
Okay. I have no problem saying that I believe the better player is Michael Jordan. And this is no bias in terms uh, of romanticism, because I'm not a Bulls fan. I already said it earlier, and in terms of favorite players, now I do think Michael Jordan's the best player I've ever seen. But in terms of favorite player, my favorite player of all time is Hakeem Olajuwon, and this is what I always say. I'm like, look, number
Ooh.
one is Hakeem, number two is whomever else you want to put after. I don't care. I don't care if it's George Mikan. I don't care if it's LeBron James. I don't care if it's Michael Jordan. You can put anybody number two. I don't care. My favorite player is Hakeem, and that won't change. So I don't have any romanticism tied to LeBron nor Jordan. It's just that when we got a chance to see Jordan play, he just had this ability to just he had this ability to just, when he really felt he was within his powers, when he knew that he was the guy. And I would say probably that would be maybe 2 years before he won his first championship. So I'd say 1989. When he knew that he could influence the game with his talent, and he could just simply suck the will out of players and suck the will out of teams. It was just an awe-inspiring thing to watch, and it's like, wow, this guy actually can influence the whole game to the point he could be on the road, and I'm not even talking about New York, just anywhere. He'd be on the road and people will cheer for him. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
oh, this dude is something else. Now LeBron has that to a certain extent, but it's not quite to a great degree. And it is because when to me, when I think of Jordan, I think, okay, so this is what Elgin Baylor must have looked like if I were to just simply transpose myself back into the '60s and watch him play. Except it was a little bit more graceful and a little bit more athletic. Not saying that Elgin Baylor wasn't athletic. We both know he was.
Yes.
He had a year when he put up 38 and 19.
Yeah,
So
oh, absolutely,
so
absolutely.
so Elgin Baylor was that dude on the court. But I just got that feeling of, okay, so this is what Elgin Baylor must have been like, but I'm seeing an Elgin Baylor style type of player in Jordan, where he simply could dominate offensively by just sheer will and sheer skill. And it was a beautiful thing to understand that. With
I,
LeBron,
I have
good, good.
No, I agree with you 100%. The only thing that I'll give LeBron is he is definitely more of a facilitator than Jordan was,
And
as we know that. But
yeah, that's
but
why I love
here's nothing which I want because we got a few more minutes left.
him.
Okay, Mike Jordan won 10 scoring titles.
Right.
Who does that? Number
Thank you.
incredible. You know, in his longevity, I mean, and he played in an era where he got beat up. The Pistons had the Jordan rules. He got beat up night after night. That's when he had to start working out, get stronger. And
Mhm.
here's where I'm gonna hit you up with something because
Go ahead.
I don't understand this. Is how come Pippen and his feelings about Jordan saying that LeBron's better than Jordan? Can you give me a take on that? I want to hear this one.
I think I can. And yeah, and I do 100% agree with you. I think what makes LeBron special over Jordan is that he is more magic than he is.
Right.
He's that facilitator. He thinks pass first. Even
Yeah.
even when he's thinking I should shoot the ball, he's still thinking pass first. But Pippen's nasty taste in his mouth about Jordan.
Yeah.
It could be from a myriad of things. It could be I think he still feels as though I don't know why he feels this way, that he probably is slighted over the fact that he had a hand in the 6 championships that he won with Jordan. That a lot of people say, well, it was just Jordan, or it was mostly Jordan, and Pippen had nothing to do with it. And I've always said, and I've always maintained that, especially the second three titles they won. The same could be said of the first three as well, but definitely second three titles. Uh, the offensive juggernaut of the Bulls was Jordan. The defensive juggernaut was Pippen.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
even Jordan took his cues defensively after Pippen. I have said that ad nauseum. I continue to say that. I really believe that Pippen. I think he still feels slighted, and probably even feels slighted by Jordan. And Jordan, when interviewed, always says, I wouldn't have the 6 rings I have if it weren't for
Right.
Scott."
Mhm.
But I get the feeling that Scotty was still slighted by Jordan. And then to boot, uh, the the part of following NBA stuff that makes me laugh is, of course, the tea sipping portion of the NBA, where you can go with the gossip. You have
Right.
Scottie Pippen's ex-wife. Now she's engaged to one of Michael Jordan's sons, and so now you have that nasty taste in your mouth of dog.
Mhm.
One of Michael's sons is engaged to my ex-wife. Ugh. I knew there was a
Mm.
reason I can't stand it, man. I think you could tie all of that in together, and then you could go to the Last Dance, where I think he felt as though he felt slighted. But the thing was that they was a Michael Jordan. To me, I think that was a Michael Jordan documentary with the other bits and pieces that being told by one episode dedicated to Phil Jackson, one episode dedicated
Yep.
to Dennis Rodman, and then one episode dedicated to Scottie Pippen. But the vehicle that drove it was Jordan, and that's just how it was. And I think Scotty felt slighted there, and I think he definitely felt slighted over the fact that he only played half of that '98 season because he
Right.
was injured 38 games
Right.
and didn't have as big of a piece in terms of the regular season that he had the seasons prior. And then then they talked about the contract dispute too. So I think you have all those things just simply bubble up in Pippen to where he just has his bad taste in his mouth about Jordan. And I hate to see that because to me, that's the greatest duo I've ever seen in the NBA ever. The greatest duo. Not my favorite duo, but I think they're the greatest duo.
I have to agree with you. It's a shame uh, that this is taking place.
Yeah.
I think it kind of throws a little dirt on all that they accomplished,
Yeah.
and that is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Uh, we
I mean,
got from yeah, I know
17
it is.
years.
Anything else you want
Nine.
to talk about the NBA before we
Uh,
go on?
NBA. No. No, I'm good. I look. I think the action's going to get hot and heavy when we get into January. I think I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think we're going to be seeing some good action. It looks like we're seeing young talent rise up, and so I think it's always good to see the whole league have a change of the guard, and I think that's what we're witnessing right now.
I agree. And then, you know something? Orlando. I'm gonna keep an eye on Orlando. Like you said, they're youthful. They're playing very well. I mean, gotta keep an eye on that. Like you said, a lot of them, except for Detroit, unfortunately, but a lot of the lower tier teams are playing a lot
Yeah,
better. Detroit, I don't know. Ooh, I don't know what's going to happen.
yeah,
And to be honest with you, I don't really see
yeah.
anything coming out of the NCAA that's going to make that much of an impact on the Pistons. That although there always could be,
I
but
don't
I
know.
don't see. I I, I don't know what they're going to do. I have no idea. That is going to be a tough decision, and I feel bad
Yeah,
for the coach. I feel bad because that's a tough situation to keep players motivated when you're on an 18-game losing streak and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. And that to me, that's a very tough situation to be in. So other than that, I think, like you said, I think the NBA is going to be very exciting in the near
mhm,
future. Hopefully, like I said, getting into January and February. Uh,
mhm.
as right now, on this date, this time, who is your MVP?
MVP of the NBA right now. That's a good question. That's
Ah,
a good question. Who would I want to put in that slot? I could be lazy and say LeBron James, but I don't think he's going to be it. Uh, I actually think I think it's either going to be either. Well, for me, it would be at the moment either um, Dame, Giannis, or Jason Tatum. One of those three. For now, that may change,
ooh,
but those are three for me. Anthony Edwards basically being a distant fourth at the moment, but I would say those. I would say those three.
now I'm gonna hit you up with another one. Do you feel that the last four MVPs are of European African descent? Do you think that has anything to do with the promotion of the international game?
Oh yeah. Oh, it has to. I mean, look, when you have when you have Joel Embiid, who I like his style. I just wish that he could be a little more sturdy in health. But I like his heart. I get him. I get him a lot, and he's an infectious player. It's hard to dislike the guy.
Right,
So you have him. You have Giannis, and he's hard to dislike too, from the standpoint of this guy really is about team, and this guy's really about improving his game. He always tries to find some way to make his game better the next year than the last.
right.
And then to me, there's my favorite player in the game today, which is Nikola Jokic. This guy is a walking, talking triple double without
And he
trying.
has a
There's
3-inch vertical.
yes, yes, a 3 inch vertical dude's a walking, talking triple double, and he doesn't even try to do it. I'm like, jeez, it's almost as
Great.
if the game is too slow and it's boring for him the way he plays. But yeah, and definitely when you have a guy like Jokic lead his team to a championship, oh yeah, the international game is going to be flooded with more talent coming to the NBA. It's going to happen. I mean, that's the only way I could see this game growing in the way that it is growing, because you're going to have Giannis and now Embiid and now Jokic, and then of course you have Luka Doncic waiting in the wings. Yeah, definitely.
And you think about it, Giannis is only 28 years old. Imagine
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
And
he's played a
then
good. He's not old. Yeah.
and Luka's 25. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I mean, NBA's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. We got a few more minutes, so I want to kick in a little bit of NFL, which you know way more than I do. But I'm interested in it because all the controversy that's going on with the NFL. Well, right now, who do you think we're going to the MVP next, but who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? What's your take on that as of right now?
As of right now, if I had to pick a team, and this will make Snowman real happy, I'd have to say the 49ers. And the reason why I say them is they, when they are healthy,
Right.
when they're healthy, there really isn't a team that can really get them off their game. The only way you can is if you're really physical against them. And there's a few teams that can do that and then offensively do damage against them. But when healthy, there isn't a team that can stop the 49ers. And I'm not saying that because of what we saw in Philly Sunday. I'm saying that because of what I have seen from them starting midway last year, where it's like, wow. So whenever they are healthy, this team is going to be very difficult to stop. And now they have another year extra under their belt, and Brock Purdy has now played, literally started a full year set of games, and he already has 2 playoff victories under his belt to boot. Yeah, this team is playing with a lot of confidence, and they're the hardest team to me to stop. So yeah, I think it's them. Then after that, maybe it's between the Ravens and the Eagles, but to me it's the 49ers.
I agree with you because also the 49ers, they have so many weapons. You know what I mean? All basically Purdy got to do is just be a game manager for the most part
Yeah.
because that's basically, they're not asking him to do a lot. I mean, just be a game manager. Now, what's going to be your take on this coming Sunday? The big game, the Eagles, Cowboys. What's your take on that game? And and also, there's talk about, okay, is the MVP going to be Dak, or is it going to be Purdy or whoever else? Will you think this game played, like if Philly wins, will they go with Hurts as MVP, you think? Or if Dallas wins, will they go with Dak, or neither and go with Purdy or anybody else?
If the Cowboys win, I'll put it like this. If the Cowboys win, and it will be because if the Cowboys win and Dak actually performs the way he normally does against the Eagles, which he actually does well against them, then yeah, I would probably say that he would probably in the prisoner moment type of take, he probably would vault himself to the MVP front runner. I don't think he's there yet because I really want to see him in games like this come through for the Cowboys and actually show us, okay, so you could take the team on your back against a really good team, whether it's in Dallas or somewhere else, and you can actually bring them to a victory against a tough opponent. I want to see that out of him, and many want to see that out of him. And if he could do that, he'll be fine. And I think he probably would be in the front of the race. But I really have to say that I think Purdy has put himself in position. He has put himself in position, and now he can say, "I beat Dak and I beat Hurts." And I mean, he actually could say that now. And if the Eagles win, because to me, this past Sunday's game did have Hurts MVP prowess take a hit. But I think if he were to rebound and win, I think it would actually have people think again. Okay, well, Jalen actually has the ability to be MVP. And I think we're premature to say he can't.
I agree. And also, I'm sure you can contest to this. Hurst got the bag, Dak got the bag, and Purdy makes $1 an hour, basically. So I mean, they're doing that with a guy who was, picked in the 7th round, and look how he's performing. So I think that in itself is a major story as well. You know what I mean? So that's going to be interesting, and he's getting his due. But again, he does have a lot of weapons, and I think it's going to be very interesting when we come down to the playoff time. And before we go, a lot of controversy about Buffalo. And I've been watching all the shows this morning, and the feedback is is their quarterback one of the best, or he's been given too much praise? What do
Hmm.
you think?
Hmm. Talking about Josh Allen?
Yes, yes, I'm talking
Uh,
about him. He
I
major controversy right now.
I think with him, my overarching issue with him is there's two things. He turns the ball over too much, and
Hmm.
the Bills and the Bills offense coordinators, and I think sometimes say coach, well, I say offense coordinator. The Bills offense coordinator has him run the ball too much.
Oh,
The running game is too much built on his ability to scramble, and he presses when and especially now in situations such as now where you can actually now point to three different games that the Bills have played. Uh, the game in Philadelphia, the game at home against the Broncos, the game in Foxborough, where he actually had a drive that within 2 minutes to go in the game gave the Bills a lead and the defense did not hold it. So he's in the mode of pressing.
mhm.
And he has the ability to come through, but he also has the ability to hurt you too. And and basically to me, his season is up and down as the Bills are. I mean, the Bills are 6-6. To me, Josh Allen has been effective at times and ineffective at other times.
Right, right.
So I think the criticism is just, but I will stop short of saying, well, he sucks. I'm not going to say that. I will also stop short of saying he's elite. He's close to it, but he's not quite there yet. He's had moments, but this year I think he's taken a step back.
Mhm. Now, Code, are there any final thoughts?
Um,
And then let
well,
people know how they can check you out again
okay,
as well.
okay. Well, I'll have to say, well, of course, since I do reside, no, I'm saying not sure, but since I grew up in Houston, I'm all Houston fandom. So of course now early in the show, I talked about I was surprised about the Rockets. I'm also
Mhm.
surprised about the Texans. If you were to tell me that there was going to be 75 by the time I was going to do this show, I would have laughed at you. I would have said, no,
Uh-huh.
there was no way on earth this team would have the same record as the three teams in front of them. All of them are vying for the number 5, 6, and 7 seed AFC. That just would not happen. I just cannot see it. And I'd be doggone they're doing it with a rookie quarterback. And CJ Stroud is an absolute gem. And I appreciate
Yes.
him taking my fan hat off and putting the analyst hat on. I appreciate him just showing us that you can do excellent things and you don't have to be 5, 6, 7 years in the game. That you can be excellent and young. And I really do appreciate him for that. So yeah, kudos to the Texans. Of course, I hope they do um, come close to making the playoffs. If they don't, it won't break my heart. It just will make me. It makes me satisfied that I know the team is going in the right direction.
Correct.
Uh,
Mhm.
so where you can find me, it is quite simple. Either you can go to Comey Media Incorporated on the YouTube channel. You can also go to Cole Sports with a Z on the YouTube channel and anywhere online. You can follow me at flowcode.com/page/host Cole Johnson. That is flowcode.com/page/host Cole Johnson. And if you also want to catch anything about all things LeBron and how it's not necessarily him, it's more the us as a fan base and how they are overboard like Cowboys fans. You can watch me on Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson every weekday, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central.
Well, you know something? I can verify that your show is very entertaining, to say the least. So y'all need to tune in and check that out. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. Cole, I want to thank you so much for coming on my show. I'm gonna have to kick it with Mr. Snow. I'm gonna deal with him, but I want to thank you for coming on my show, and
Thank
I appreciate you coming on, and I'm gonna try to get you back on couple of months when the NBA playoffs come on back, because I'm sure the viewers are very interested in what you had to say. And
Yeah.
you're one of the best. So again, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on my
Thank you.
show. Ladies and
Thank
gentlemen,
you.
thank you so much for tuning in. Sports Corner with the Con Man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Take care. God bless. Have a good night. Thank you, Cole. My
Thank you,
man.
brother.